Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have a very special edition of this video to show you guys. It's called The Real Reason Why Republicans Aren't Stopping the Invasion. And we're speaking freedom of speech things. I'm not going to bash anybody, but we are all suffering. Even the ones that don't believe they're suffering are suffering. And some people are getting poisoned while others are not. Allegedly. So we're about to dive in. I've never seen this video before. It popped up on my video feed. And then I'll do my season 6 and 6, season 2, season 3, and edit 2 videos. I'll be up till 11 o'clock, period. I'm going to get my work done. But before that, we're going to see what Tucker Carlson have to say, because this is important and educational for people to know. This is daily life. This is daily things, and we need to figure out how to solve this problem.
Crises unfolding simultaneously in the United States right now. Only one has the certain capacity to change our way of life forever. Only one of them can't be undone, and that's the invasion taking place. An invasion is not too strong a word. It's not hyperbole. It's real. Take a look at the video on your screen. This was shot just outside El Paso, Texas. You can see the migrants cutting razor wire as they force their way into our country, as they invade it. Again, this is not happening on the other side of the world. This is your country. This is Texas, under siege by people of zero respect for our borders and laws. People whose first
I know people have no respect for our borders and laws because of the fact that I have reason to believe that I'm being allegedly followed by illegal immigrants for the bad government personal purposes of keeping track of me. They try to intimidate me. They sit up there, drive slow on purpose. When the speed limit is 45, they're doing 25 so I can go around them. When I'm at an event, they try to get there before me and predict. I believe I have a GPS tracker underneath my car. Once again, I'm being used as bait, and this is what made me mad last time.
Act as an American is to break federal law. But what's so interesting, and maybe the most revealing of all, is that no one is stopping this. And to the extent they're trying, courts are stopping them from enforcing the law. Courts have gone back and forth about whether Texas has the right to protect its own borders. What's so interesting, really, is that a bunch of other states and cities around the country for decades have been violating federal law, federal immigration law, by declaring themselves sanctuary cities. And no one's done anything about that at all. But here, one state trying to enforce the U.S. border with the rest of the world and is prevented from doing so by judges. It's hard to believe it. So how should Texas and the rest of the country proceed with that in mind? The country's being invaded. No one is stopping it. Well, Jesse Kelly, who is a talk show host and friend of ours from the state of Texas, recently tweeted an idea. Here's what he said. Ignore them, meaning the courts. Create a 10-state coalition to stand with you, meaning with Texas. Arrest and deport every illegal in your state. Arrest and try anyone from the federal government who tries to stop you. It's time. So we haven't thought through what exactly that would mean in practical terms or what the long-term effects of that would be, but it's impossible not to deeply sympathize with the spirit that animates it. And so we thought we would talk to Jesse Kelly directly. He's the host of the Jesse Kelly Show, and we're honored to have him now. Jesse, thanks a lot for coming on. So,
no, I appreciate it.
So rather than try to characterize, as I just did, I guess, what you meant when you wrote that, why don't you tell us?
Well, we're in a really bad spot, Tucker, and I don't celebrate what I'm about to say, but it is time now, not 10 years from now, not next year. It is time right now for the states, especially red states, to re-examine the nature of their relationship with the federal government, if I'm going to put it that way. And I
Yes.
want to be crystal clear about what I'm about to say. I do not want this country to break up, although I believe we are breaking up. I don't want anything like a war or violence. I don't want that. I don't want any individual American to do anything illegal. But red states must now, right now, begin re-examining the nature of their relationship with the federal government because the country is being undone. The country is being destroyed now, and there's nothing that can stop or reverse this unless red states take this step. Let me explain. Sorry to filibuster on your show.
You're not filibustering at all.
Let me explain.
Data is transforming the business landscape, just as it is transforming social systems.
Right now, it's not an accident, as you well know. You talk about this all the time. It's not an accident what's happening on the border. The people who lead the nation from the federal level, that's Democrat politicians, half the Republican politicians, every bureaucrat, they are encouraging flooding the border with illegals. They're encouraging it. That's just what they want. They want America full of illegals, no loyalty to America, criminals, rapists, murderers. That is what they want, because when you cause violence and chaos in a society, that's the fertile soil where communism.
And you know, I have to say this. They think that they're really organized. I know everything that they do to me. It is not organized what they're doing. It's like 20 of them. No lie. They get on their phone. Some be up the block on the street, in the corner of the street. Some even block where I come through. They try to learn about me. Like, if you want to be a part of American, mind your own business. I am not your business. Stop including me. I don't want you. I don't want you in my business. Leave me alone. But you won't. Instead, you follow me to annoy me. Y'all spend gas on gas on gas, annoying me, which is not working, by the way, because I go places that have cameras. Y'all are making y'all country look stupid. Why are y'all really over here?
Grows. People will always turn to the government and beg them for help when that kind of societal collapse comes. So they know this. So they're inviting it. Well, other countries around the world are obliging, as countries always have in this situation. Hey, there's a country I don't particularly like. They have an open border. We do have this prison full of rapists. Hey, guys, why don't you just move on to America? We know this is happening in countries like Venezuela, where they're emptying prisons onto the border. We don't have criminals coming here individually. We have entire criminal networks coming here.
Thank you. It is a criminal network full of criminals. Some people, some white women, black women, Hispanic, good Hispanic women that don't know, like the Hispanic woman that was shot by gang member by their own creed, shot in the head and the body, and just laid out in California. She leaves behind her this not dysfunctional, but her son that has a mental illness. That is not right, man. They are organized, and they come here, and they, you know what they do? They're gonna not listen to whoever is controlling the strings after a while. So y'all think y'all can pay them money? Go ahead, pay them money. But after a while, they're gonna stop listening to you. They're laughing at the government right now. Ha ha ha, government. We have control over you. You're letting us over, and you let the devil into a sanctuary like heaven. And what you think gonna happen? They're going to kill God eventually. They're looking for God.
The country is being undone now, and it cannot be reversed. What's happening right now? I want everyone to understand this. Let's say everyone gets their wish, and Donald Trump beats Joe Biden in November, and woohoo! You cannot possibly, it's not humanly possible to deport this many people. If Joe Biden's going to bring in 10, 12 million people, almost all of them will be here permanently, and all of their children will be American citizens. And there's not going to be some mass deportation, no matter what people say on the campaign trail. The American people have no stomach for that whatsoever. Even if they think they do right now, it would be one video of a little boy crying as mommy gets thrown in the back of a paddy wagon to be deported, and all deportations would stop. Republicans would grab their ankles for the media like they always do, and everything. Oh, we need to do this more humanely. So,
and then it would be blamed on Trump that he's splitting them up. They knew the deal when they were coming over here. To be quite honest, they're teaching their children how to break the laws. They have no physical communication. Some parents are raping, molesting, and teaching their children crimes. And then when you see it on tape, you see that little boy that's been molested that don't even know which way to go, that's crying for his mother because he don't know what molestation means. He just know that mommy did what she did out of love. And he's going to get older and do the same thing. What have you done to us? Why did you do this to us? It's not only an invasion of the United States, it's an invasion of our minds that we have to see this every day.
that's the situation we're in. Well, where does that leave us? Where it leaves us is you can decide to challenge the federal government at a state level, or you can lose your country. There is no third direction. Illegal immigration on this level will sink America in the same way. It doesn't matter how big or powerful a boat is. If it takes on enough water, it will go down to the bottom of the ocean. We cannot exist like this. So we are going to have to do things outside of the Constitution. I don't celebrate that either. That's where we are. If I'm in a house, right, and in my house, let's say there's some weird ordinance in the city, some weird law in the city where I live, where I'm not allowed to do anything to the house. If there's any problems at all, it's a light bulb out or a fire, it is against the law for me to touch it. I abide by the law. But eventually I come home and the house is on fire and my sons are upstairs saying, "Dad, come help." Well, I'm sorry, law or no law, I'm going to get my sons. We cannot stand by and watch the United States of America be destroyed. And people have to understand how dire this situation is. This is the stated policy now of the Democrat Party. So even if Joe Biden gets bounced in 2024, woohoo, we get some deportations in. The next time there's any Democrat president.
See, what they think, what these Democrats think, is that they're going to be protected. They swear up and down the Mexican. If you see how corrupt these illegal immigrants are, what do you think is going to happen when they get up in the mass to our president and to the rest of the Democrats? When they get up there in mass, what do you think they're going to do? Then the Mexican, this is going to be a full-fledged war against the illegal immigrants and against the army. And by the time it's too big, it's going to be too late. And where is going to be our great President Biden? He's going to be off the campaign trail. He fulfilled his term. And we're going to be stuck. Why? All I have, like Nancy Kerrigan, and this is not in a mean or malicious way, why did you do this to our country? How did you do this to our country? You left us hanging. What if we were to invade the White House and just spend our time watching you, just staring at you all day? And when you go to take a crap on the toilet, we're just steady staring at you. We have cameras everywhere. We have listening devices. You can't use that secret service telephone to make secret calls between maybe the Mexican president and you, allegedly. Do you think that Mexican president, I don't even know you, President Biden, but do you really think that Mexican president don't have an alter reason, another reason why he want and he's allowing immigrants? Their country is fine now. The ones that want to stay, that want to fight, is going to get shot. You all are going to be protected for just the short term. So Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and the rest of the crew, just know that when they are done listening to you. They're going to flip on you guys. You're no longer going to have protection. They're going to be killing a lot more people. Judges. Let me say that again. Judges. Political parties. Both sides. Get with the program.
And it'll again be open season, and the entire world will know. Criminals, drugs, rapists, everything flooding into the country to destroy it. The time is now to create a coalition in a totally separate immigration force. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, and let's just be honest. I mean, obviously, I'm fervently rooting for Trump over Biden for many, many reasons. But Trump was president for 4 years, and he didn't even build a defensive border wall. Didn't, and I don't care. We can lie about that, but that's just a fact. So the idea that he's going to deport 10 million people is just don't lie to me. I'm sick of it. So I agree.
Yeah, look, I mean, not to interrupt, but along those same lines, Tucker. Sorry, but people have to also remember child separation policy. That's a basic border policy because people grab kids who aren't theirs and act like, hey, I'm Dad Pedro, and when really he's not. He's some kind of cartel member. And so you always separate the kid and figure out, is he there with mom or dad? That's a basic border policy. Look, again, insult or don't insult, I don't give a crap if people are offended by it. The Trump administration ended that policy because of media and Democrat pressure. Democrats did a bunch of photo ops down on the border. AOC's crying at the fence. Eventually, child separation was ended. That's because of media pressure. And people in this country honestly believe there's going to be some mass deportation of 8 million people where you're rounding up entire families and shipping them back to Zimbabwe. You're outside of your mind. It'll never happen. The people have no stomach for it, and neither does the Republican Party.
So so you're in Texas, I think. You have a governor. He's a longtime governor. He's a Republican. His name is Greg Abbott. His state is being destroyed. And it's very obvious when you go to Texas. I've been there a lot recently, that it's already being destroyed. It just looks dirtier than it did 2 years ago, because it is. So why has he done nothing? What's his excuse?
He's a Republican. That's what Republicans do. Republicans do nothing. Republicans have been in charge for I don't know how long of managing the decline. I mean, look, it's not exactly a new insult to call the Republican Party controlled opposition, but let's be frank, that's exactly what they are.
And what he means by that is some of the Republicans are allegedly getting paid by the Democrats, the deep state, and they're like not crooked, but they're what's the word for it? What's that word? Not corrupt. They're working both sides. They're double agents type things. They're double political parties where they're abiding by one rule and they're getting pressure. Like, let's face it. We're talking about the president of the United States. If you were to be, say, you'll be safe, I'll pay you money. And they should look at it and fight it, because if somebody's telling you, look, I'll pay you money and you just don't say nothing, and they'll take up for you and you won't be a target if you just take the deal. Pressure. So my heart goes out to all these double political parties, but what are you going to do when the people start fighting back? There are 300 and counting 50, 60, 70 million of us. And there's only 300,000 police. People are starting to get woke. Why won't you help us? Why must we have to go through different loops in order to get help? You know what's right and you know what's wrong. What would God do? Don't bring God into a situation or the Bible when you know God didn't create laws like this that favors rich people.
Even Joseph Stalin allowed an opposition party. A lot of people don't realize this. He allowed, encouraged, and in fact funded an opposition party to give the people of the Soviet Union an illusion of choice. Oh, no, these guys are against me. Wow, it's pretty scary. But somehow they never end up accomplishing any of their anti-Stalin goals. We're constantly told the Republican Party is going to fight for us and protect the border, and we'll cut your taxes, and we'll be pro-life, and we'll protect the family. Yet none of these things ever seem to materialize. They all talk about it during election season. I'll build the wall. And then you get there and you get 25 feet of wall and a bunch of excuses. Greg?
It wasn't no bunch of excuses, though, sir. You have to realize that Donald Trump was pressured by not only Nancy Pelosi, which there's a video of, but Chuck Schumer. He said elections has consequences, and obviously it did when he threatened to shut down the government, which if I was in his position, I would have.
Abbott, look, that's his excuse. He's a Republican. That's what they all are. That's why I'm an anti-communist.
So I think that's a really smart and true description of what we're seeing. Let's say the red states won't do this because they're run by Republicans. At what point do people who live in the state and have children in the state, grandchildren in the state who were born in this country and don't want to see it destroyed, say, I'm getting 10 of my friends, we're going to protect our stretch south of Carrizo Springs. Like, how long till that happens?
I understand the inclination for that, but what we're going to, like the revolution, the American Revolution. Sorry, I'm not going to get sidetracked, Tucker, but the American Revolution. We like to imagine the American Revolution was just a bunch of American citizens picking up a musket, fighting against the British, and creating the United States of America. We love that image in our head, and obviously a lot of that is true. But the American Revolution is not successful without state power like France stepping in and giving us critical aid. We cannot protect this nation as 10 dudes going down in the border with some plates in your flak jacket that you bought on Amazon and an AR-15. That's not going to work. It's not going to be effective because the state itself is simply going to throw you in the clink because the state is the one facilitating the invasion. When the state is the one facilitating the invasion, anyone who tries to stop it goes to prison. Look at that United States Marine Daniel Penny in New York, kills a guy on a subway protecting women. He's going to the clink. Everyone knows he's going to get convicted. We now live in a country where the elites on the top.
And that's why I'm leaving this country. Once I get what I need from the country, I am not mad at the FBI, CIA, or anybody, but I cannot do this. My mind is invaded. I cannot stand to go to the grocery store no more. I cannot stand to even walk outside of my house no more. It's just sick, man. It's appalling. It disgusts me. And I have more reasons of why I am disgusted. 2 years back, they know what they did to me. You don't know how evil these people are.
Up and the streets on the bottom are sandwiching the American people in the middle, and they're attacking them from both ways. We must have some level of state power on our side. So when it comes to states like Texas and other states, what needs to happen instead of grabbing a rifle and going to the border is the American people need to start running these loser Republicans out of their state legislatures and out of their governor's mansions and out of the sheriff's office. The sheriffs are going to be critically important going forward. And I need to be clear, this is starting to happen, Tucker, slowly but surely. Texas state legislature just got put on notice. A bunch of these dorks at our state legislature got run out of the party of government in primaries because normal people are getting sick and tired of no action, and they're running these people out. It's happening. It's happening slowly. Maybe too slowly when you consider the fact that the federal government is gleefully destroying this country. I haven't seen these people this happy since Pete Buttigieg and his husband took their baby home.
Or went on paternity leave. Why is it that Republican states tend to have the least sincere Republican? Like Dan Crenshaw, apparently still a member of Congress from the state of Texas, who is zero interest in the U.S. border. All his interest is in the Ukrainian border, the Gaza border. How does a guy like that get elected in a supposedly Republican state?
Well, complacency and life being good makes us soft, right? It's just the fact of life. It's one of those things humanity struggled with. As soon as you get rich or well off or comfortable, how do you keep improving? How do you keep your edge? You rarely do. This is what's happened to red state Republicans. There's nobody more at fault for the condition of this country than red state GOP voters. And people get mad when I say that. But let me just go down the list here. Mitch McConnell, John Cornyn, John Thune, Tillis. I mean, look, you can go down the list. Every dork from Louisiana. The reddest states in this country give us the most putrid Republicans at the federal level. Why does that happen? Because the GOP primary voter in red states lives in a relatively normal place. He lives in comfort. He thinks he's got a red legislature. So he either doesn't vote in primaries. That's mostly the case. He's just going to sit at home. Or even worse, he goes to vote for Senator Dork, who he sees on Fox News every time. Well, Lindsey Graham was on Fox tonight. I guess he's on my side. You should have nothing but disdain for virtually every single senator you see on Fox News. And yet people vote for who they see on television. Well, I met John Thune once, and he was so handsome. He's very clearly on our side. John Thune supported gun control legislation, and John Thune on camera was asked to back up American people owning AR-15s, and the best argument he could make for your liberty, for the Second Amendment, was that, I kid you not, this is on camera, he told people, well, I mean, a lot of people use them to shoot prairie dogs. These are the weapons-grade losers who control the GOP, and they're from the reddest states. Susan Collins is understandable, Tucker. Sorry to get all fired up. It's understandable. She's from Maine. It's from a blue state. Of course, we're going to get some wishy-washy, mealy-mouthed dork from that kind of state. From the Dakotas? The Dakotas are so red, it's crazy. They could have somebody to the right of me if they wanted to, but they don't. Well, I saw him on Fox last night.
You know, the funny thing is all the states going to end up a sanctuary state. I feel so bad for this United States, this country, this sweet country. We had crime, yes, we had crime. But it's nothing like today. And they think because they stay out in the outskirts of the outskirts where you have to, reach people that don't know people, that know people that don't know. Like, I knew this guy that 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 knew this guy's cousin type outskirts. Like, seriously, it's way out there. But they think they're not being watched. They're being watched. Everybody is now. And I'm begging you to reconsider this FBI and CIA. Why do we have to do this to our country? My mind feels like it's fried, on fire. Every day I walk out, I don't feel safe. I'm safe in house. But when I go in the store, they want my book bag. They want my computer. They want my cell phone. It's sick, man. You're not going to get it from me. Get over your organization that you're never going to get it. And it has a tracer on it too. So if you do take it, the police may not be able to do nothing, but the FBI will trace you.
Gag me with a fork.
Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. I mean, you just go down the list. They're absolutely the worst. So do you have any hope that this will happen?
Yes, eventually. See, this is the problem. Look, everyone watching your show is going to be that hyper-informed person. Everyone watching us right now is going to be hyper-informed. And the burden of being hyper-informed, I'm glad everyone is hyper-informed, by the way, but the burden of that is you're always going to be 10 years at least ahead of the people who are in elected office. So we know what needs to be done now. This needs to be done now. It has to be done right now. We have to save this right now. But change doesn't happen that way. Changing the party into something that's actually anti-communist and pro-America is going to take time. It's going to take election cycle after election cycle. It takes years to get these losers out of D.C., to get them out of your state legislature. It just takes time and effort, but we have to start taking ownership of that and getting more involved. Democrats participate in primaries. 50% of them go vote in primaries, Tucker. 25% of Republicans go vote in primaries. You want to know why the Democrat Party is the party of Mao now and the Republican Party hasn't advanced at all? That's exactly why. People sit on their butts. They don't get involved. And now look where we are.
So DeSantis is now talking once again about sending illegals to Martha's Vineyard. He did that, and then he kind of wussed out and kind of.
Yeah, we know why though, Tucker Carlson. You know, the hurricane, did y'all hear the story how it went down? He got his big man pants on, and I'm not trying to be funny, I'm just making jokes. He took his big man pants and he said, yes, I'm king of the world. I sent the migrants to Martha's Vineyard in Boston or Massachusetts. Then a hurricane came. Then Nancy Pelosi said, the migrants should pick crops when they come over here. When have you seen a migrant picking crops? They don't do that. They work in your jobs, Xfinity. They're working McDonald's jobs. There's working every single job, cable, trash man, and they're abusing their power. They're calling each other up. They're in these organizations calling each other up, trying to pretend like they're organized. And I can see one woman can see right through them. And they think they're not being watched. I've been almost sideswiped twice purposefully by trucks. Purposefully. It's sick out here, man. Y'all think y'all not being watched. We need trash man, right? We need electricians, and they're all Hispanic now. Do you see anybody picking some crops?
Apologize for order, didn't press the point. But I noticed from traveling that rural areas, pretty rural areas, where you might go hunt and fish, for example, are now filled with white liberals living in the whitest possible zip codes they can find. The ones who lecture you about white privilege are now living in much whiter areas than they did 5 years ago. Why not make this, send the illegals to Martha's Vineyard, but also to Aspen, also to Bethesda, Maryland, to these strongholds, these all-white strongholds of progressive lunacy? Like, why not make that the policy? Like, why be ashamed of doing
it? Should be this. It should be, and it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. It should be. There should be caravans, busloads of these people shipped into these neighborhoods. But I'll tell you something, Tucker. Even that might not affect.
And then the hurricane. I didn't finish the story. After the hurricane, and Nancy Pelosi said the migrants should pick crops. She gave him a shout out. Basically, Biden came down there and saved the day. Now, what happens when Biden comes down there? They spoke in front of the public, but there's a briefing, a pre-briefing. It's a pre-briefing, a briefing, and then a after briefing. I don't know the terms, but I know this. You meet before the briefing, the outside door near the people briefing, then you brief around them, and then you debrief after. So what was said that made him stop doing that? Ask yourselves that.
It would be good. We should do it. Even that might not change these people's minds. I had the wildest conversation. I forgot to tell you about this with this lady. I won't go into details. We were in this big group setting, and there were Republicans there, Democrats there. It was vacation. We ended up at this big table, like 10 people at this table, having a couple cocktails after dinner, just talking about life. And there were these two liberal white women from Chicago. And they loved their mayor, Brandon Johnson, loved him. They actually referenced him as BJ, was his name, right? BJ, I'm not kid you not, they kept calling him BJ. I mean, like he's Kamala Harris or something like that. It was BJ this and BJ that. But I kept my mouth shut, Tucker, believe it or not. I know no one's going to believe that. I just sat there and listened, just watched and just listened as these people were talking. Well, there was this oil field guy from Texas who loved this guy. He's total cowboy, red America, the great, all this. And he wasn't holding back. And he finally challenges this woman about the crime in Chicago. And he says to her, you talk about BJ this and Chicago's great that. Look at these murder numbers and it's a disaster. And you got people taking over Union Square. It's crazy. How can you defend it? And Tucker, on my life, cross my heart and hope to die, this lady looked him right in the eye and she said, well, yeah, if you come to Chicago, you might get robbed, but you're not going to be targeted.
You heard that? Case closed. Case closed. Case closed. Now, he's around liberals, and they said that. These are hardworking Americans that got to put up with this crap and see them get and put a show on for us, make money, and nothing happens. You make your choice, man. Make your choice.
That was her explanation. Well, yeah, you might get robbed here, but they're not going to target you for assassination. Why are you complaining? Chicago is wonderful. In her mind, that was a good explanation. People do not understand how sick the mind of the liberal white woman is, and they don't understand that that is the true beating heart of the Democrat Party today. I'm not even actually trying to be mean about this. It's why they talk to them. Do people know that married women vote Republican? Yes. Married men vote Republican, married men vote Republican, single men vote Republican, but it's something like 77% of single women vote Democrat, and the majority, over 58% of those women have been diagnosed with mental illness. Single, miserable women who are clinically insane are the beating heart of the Democrat Party. And that's why these people do the things they do. And that's why they do what they do when it comes to illegal immigration, because single white women view illegal immigration like rescuing dogs who've been abused. Oh, sure, everybody just come into my country. Please rape anyone you want. Of course, that's the right thing to do. No love of country, just sitting there popping her anti-anxiety medication as she destroys Western civilization. That's the truth.
Look at that face, man. He's telling the truth. Now, I don't know. I predicted it. I predicted it with my own natural, mentally insane to other people mind. And you got a man that's been on the scene, been around politicians, both conservative and liberal, both Republican and Democrat, communist, whatever you want to call it. There's many words, but it all leads up to one: independent, whatever you want to say. They all have definitions. How is it that this man that I have never met a day in my life is saying what I predicted? Been saying this for 4 whole years.
I don't think you get the credit for being as deep and insightful as you are. Last question, since you live in Texas. Do you notice it? Do you notice the effects of this invasion on your state?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Tucker, I don't live in Houston proper. I would never live in it. It's too blue. I don't live in blue areas. But occasionally we have to go in there if it's an event or if it's an airport or something like that. Especially over the last year, maybe last 2 years, it is noticeably dirtier, more dangerous. It's a place my wife will not venture now unless I am with her. It is very, very noticeable, especially in the urban areas and around the urban areas where these illegals know they can just disappear into the ether. They are protected in these places. They're provided for. I mean, my goodness. And the Venezuelans we're shipping to New York City have special Venezuelan cuisine, courtesy of the U.S. taxpayer. So, yes, anytime.
It's funny, man. It's funny. They get business priority over Black women and Black men and lower class white women and lower class white men. So if you out there in your lower class that want a business, don't fret. The Mexican people will get their restaurant business. They'll get whatever they want. And then what? Then what? What'll happen then? People are afraid to stand up. If we are afraid to stand up against illegal immigrants, what do you think is going to happen to us? Why is it such a riddle that if we stand up to illegal immigrants, we're going to go down? What is the big riddle?
You're in one of these blue areas, especially Houston, Austin's really bad now. You notice it. It's bad. You can't drive a Ford F-150 pickup truck into the city of San Antonio right now. And if you do, you better have all your valuables out of it, because it'll be gone about 15 minutes after you walk into Starbucks. It's bad now. Bad.
But you mentioned the cost of it. I mean, it feels like, impossible to predict, of course, but it feels like the U.S. economy is hollow and maybe on the verge of like an actual reset where we have to face the fact that we're not as rich as we thought we were.
And you know, the funny thing is, instead of taking care of our country, we're taking care of Ukraine. At first it was cool. But when you have your child, and as you raise your child, we've been taught in program that once your child reaches 17, 18, you take care of it a little, them, I'm sorry, not it, but him or her a little bit, unless they truly need it, not around the clock. You sit up there and take care of a child around the clock. That's not helping the child. That's hurting your pockets, and that's helping fuel the child thinking that they can get whatever they want in life. That is not good. So why are we taking care of Ukraine like this? Why aren't we building a border? Why aren't we taking care of our army? Why aren't we taking care of our system?
If that happens, are people going to start to, do you think, notice that all the services they pay for are no longer available? Healthcare, education, the roads. Like, are they going to want to continue to pay for criminals from Venezuela to live for free in our country? Won't that change attitudes?
Yes. Yes, they're going to want to continue to do it for a time, Tucker, because there's so many lies out there that are created for people now, even normal people, where they don't know how to access real, true information, especially if you're, and this is not insulting older people, but if you're an older, more traditional American, not even some America-hating piece of trash Democrat, but just a normal American. You go to work, you have a family, everything else, and then at home when you're having dinner, maybe you finish dinner, you have a beer, and you turn on what? NBC, ABC, CBS, you get caught up on the news of the day. Unless you are seeking out shows like this on X, podcasts, things like that, unless you're seeking out information, if you're just existing in the ether, you live in a world entirely of make-believe. Even the normal American doesn't understand what's going on, and they don't understand why they're seeing the things they're seeing. People who live in Southern California don't understand why the hospitals are closing. They don't totally get it.
Let's not even go there about the hospitals. I hope they all close in California. They're corrupt as corrupt. They're corrupt beyond corrupt. And if I had another word for corrupt, beyond Googleplex of corrupt, beyond the dimensions that we know of, beyond everything, they will kill a Black person in a second, in a heartbeat.
People in New York City don't understand why there's a new Spanish-speaking wing in Aiden, Jaden, and Braden's new elementary school. They don't quite understand what's happening. If you're in Chicago, you don't understand why now measles is making a comeback. People don't make the connection because they don't access true information. We're so demoralized as a people, and we've been so battered down by lies through our education system and media for years that we are a people very lost and listless right now, and we need to find our anchor for sure.
People like that can be destroyed, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why they did it.
You're right. Jesse Kelly, I sure appreciate that. Interesting, and as I said, just really insightful. Thank you.
You're good, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Free speech is bigger than any one person.
As a small business owner, we know you can't just sit back and wait for your audience to find you. You've got to get in front of them. That's why TikTok is about to be your new best friend. Refined beauty.
So if you're Joe Biden standing for re-election at the age of 81, the obvious question is, what exactly are you going to run on? You're not going to run on the state of the economy. You're not going to run on the state of the world, which is increasingly chaotic. You're not going to run on lengthening life expectancy, because actually life expectancy is declining in the United States under his watch. So what are you going to run on? Well, you're going to run against. And the main thing Biden is going to run against is Christianity. Running against Christianity. He's already put people in prison for praying, so it's not a stretch. But of course, you're not going to say I'm running against Christianity, the world's largest religion. You're going to say I'm running against something called Christian nationalism, which was a way of making traditional Christianity seem like...
Oh, y'all heard about me say about that 8-parent, family couple that were Christians? They got shot by the cartel. They burnt the babies, the 2 twins. It's mistaken identity. They couldn't see in the car that there were babies in the family. No, thank you. I'm not buying it.
A threat to the country rather than the principle upon which it was founded. So that is their plan. They've been running against something called Christian nationalism. And in this, they have the full cooperation of Hollywood and the media outlets, which are whipping up the population into a frenzy over this threat called Christian nationalism. Well, most of us, even those of us who pay some attention, aren't really sure what Christian nationalism is. Is it a product of what it sounds like, which is some branding meeting in the basement of the DNC designed to make Christians seem really scary if they believe in God? Maybe. We decided we would ask the person most closely identified with that phrase, Christian nationalism. He's one of the rare American Christian pastors who is willing to engage on questions of culture and politics. And for that, he has taken a lot of grief, but we are honored to have him. His name is Doug Wilson. He's the pastor at Christ Church in Moscow, Idaho. He's the author of several books, including a book called Mere Christendom, The Case for Bringing Christianity Back into Modern Culture. And Pastor Wilson joins us now. Pastor, thank you very much.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm sincere. That was not opposed. I'm sincerely confused by the phrase Christian nationalism, which seems like an attack on Christianity to me.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, to the extent you understand it, and are you a Christian nationalist?
So I'm willing to be a Christian nationalist because
Okay.
because I prefer that phrase to the phrase I usually get called. So
What do you get? What do you usually get? called?
white supremacist,
White supremacist.
slave advocate,
Oh,
racist, all the theo-fascist, Christo. So the left really does hate Christianity,
yes.
and with
And it makes me so mad that one day I actually caught, like the first time I started spewing my hate temporarily on Nancy Pelosi, they were inside the chambers of the House of Representatives, and she read from the Bible, and she just rolled her eyes after she shut the Bible, like, there, I did it. I did my job. Is that what y'all want to hear? Just a little excerpt from the Bible. I did my job. Do you want more?
the phrase Christian nationalism, even the part of it that's coming from the left, trying to wrap that around our necks, that's something I think I can explain. I can say, yes, but, and then explain inside of 2 minutes.
But may I ask before you, and thank you for doing that, and I will listen raptly because I really want to know. But just to clarify the terms, is that a phrase that you or people with your beliefs came up with, or was that a phrase that was leveled against you?
Well, both. Canon Press, located in Moscow, Idaho, has a streaming service called Canon Plus. Canon Press published The Case for Christian Nationalism by Stephen Wolfe. So that was our embrace of the term. Okay, and Stephen Wolfe.
The funny thing, sorry, my eyes are itching, but the funny thing is if the devil is already on this earth, then Jesus Christ is somewhere on this earth, which Jesus Christ would be the Son of God in human form, right? And the devil would take shape of a human form, right? And they would look, what would the devil look like? Would the devil look like a strong, broad man that can fight anybody like Superman? Or would they look innocent and frail? That way, what would happen? We would have sympathy and empathy for that individual. So who is getting paid? This is why. Who is getting paid for Jesus Christ to be put in these magazines, to them to keep talking about them? Because when they find out who the real Jesus Christ is, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? They're going to have to generate all that revenue to the real Jesus Christ. I believe Jesus Christ is here. I believe he is on this planet right now, somewhere in the world. I have reason to believe that. And they will stop at nothing to destroy Christianity and call it names that it truly isn't. God isn't a rich God. God isn't going to sit up there and sabotage somebody else to remain God. Everybody is welcome in God's territory. Beat up people. He prefer the lower class over the upper class, because the upper class lose their faith. They lose everything. They think they're winners, but they're losers. I want to be in the upper class, but I am going to earn it. I'm going to work my way and start from the bottom up. When it's time for me to be upper class, I'll be upper class. But I've always been lower class. And I know God accept me. Mental health issues in all. Lilith hearing or seeing or whatever in all.
Wrote a scholarly defense of the whole thing, the history of the whole thing. So we embraced it to that extent. But then on MSNBC just a few weeks ago, there was one of the talking heads there that said, anybody who believes that rights come from God and not from Congress and not from the Supreme Court is a Christian nationalist, right? So anybody who, making Thomas Jefferson
Right.
a Christian nationalist, endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. So anybody who believes that, according to the left, is a Christian nationalist. And there is a developed set of arguments in defense of that phrase that can be, I think, pointed out in short order. You can't, there's no, trying to defend other things they call you is like putting lipstick on a pig. It's not going to be any good.
No.
All right. But this is something that people can say, oh, I love my nation and I'm a Christian. Why can't these?
Well, that's how I feel about it.
Right.
I don't know what it is. So how would you define it?
So it's, I think, very simple. If there is no God above the society, if there is no God above the state, take God away.
Yes.
The state is God.
Yes.
Okay. If there is no God above the state is God. The state becomes God. And it assumes the prerogatives of deity. Cameras at every intersection, aping omniscience,
Yes.
Omnipresence, in big brothers watching you.
Control of your mind.
Control of your mind. They want to control absolutely everything. Every keystroke, they want to control everything.
You heard that, right? Marty Kaiser always said in his Odyssey of an Eavesdropper, we're only safe in our mind. And if you think that you're safe in your mind, that was done in 95. My, what technology have we came out with today?
Because they're aspiring to deity. The reason they're aspiring to deity is because they don't recognize any God above them. Okay, now, this is where everybody, I think I'd be with, most people would be with me up to that point. All conservative believing Christians.
The state is not God.
The state is not God.
Yes.
Okay, and the early Christians were
So
persecuted.
why did they say in God we trust? The dollar bill. So it gets, the plot thickens.
Not because they worship Jesus, but because they would not worship Caesar. All right, the whole issue of Christians being thrown to the lions had to do with who they wouldn't worship, not who they would.
Right.
Okay, the Romans were more than happy to add Jesus to the pantheon.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but the claims of Christ are exclusive, and Christians would not recognize Caesar as Lord. Jesus is Lord, is the fundamental Christian confession. So most Christians are with me right up to that point. But then the immediate comeback question from our antagonists would be, okay, if you want to have a God above the state, smart aleck, which God? Okay, and that lands you right in the middle of theological debate, which is the last place in the world a lot of people want to be.
For sure.
Okay, is it Allah? Is it Shiva, the God of destruction? Is it the Unitarian God? Is it the Christian God? What God is it?
Is it Satan, of the Church of Satan?
Right. And incidentally, if I could put here, our current rulers don't believe in God, but they do believe in the devil. Right? All right. And their belief.
Did y'all hear that? It's sick out here and it makes my stomach turn. You must do me a favor, y'all. Do me a favor. You don't have to agree or put anything in the commenting section. Study these demons. You must study them to learn how to beat them at their own game. Had I not known from my brother or learned from certain people, the FBI along the way, the CIA along the way, they're protecting me, and many other protections, informants coming along my way, showing me things to do, and I pick up on every aspect, I would be dead. Point blank, period. They show me, and I'm a fast learner.
Belief in the devil is why they want to ascend the sides of the north. They want to be as the Most High. That was the initial temptation in the garden. You shall be as God.
Yes.
Okay. So
what is the apple, y'all? Ask yourself, what is the apple? What is the apple that we're eating right now? You know, I'm going to show you a big example. Before I continue with him, I've never seen this footage. Before I continue with him, I must tell you something. My theory. Okay, even Adam ate the darn apple, right? But what also happened, and that's why we have encouragement through mirror images. We have mirrored images, right? But what's pretty cool about mirror images is what they produce. These mirror images, what you see of me, I'm upside down. I don't think it was supposed to be like this, but it is. When you looking straight, you're actually looking upside down. It's introvert. So everything that happened with the apple that our first ancestry ate made everything in reverse. And how can you keep it that way? Not unless we're fed something or given something to keep us introvert. Now, you got extroverts. I'm not talking about introvert as in I'm withdrawn. I'm talking about introvert as in upside down. When you look through that mirror, I'm actually upside down, but it reverses back. And you see me like this form. That's a fact in every mirror that you see. Your mind can't even process it that I'm upside down right now. But it processes I'm this way. When we look, I'm upside down, but I'm actually upside down. But we process it that I'm straight up and down. That's a normal response, right? Because of our eyes. So let's continue to watch. And what are we eating now? When we go crazy or considered crazy, what do we take to make our symptoms go away? You know, Jesus Christ was schizophrenic. Jesus Christ was schizophrenic. How many schizophrenias are there out there? Lots. Jesus Christ was considered. Some psychologists said, oh, he's schizophrenic. Some 50% said he was, 50% said he wasn't. It was a big debate. And every time he tried to do things, it was shut down. The government did not like him. The government wanted to kill him, and they finally did. 3 people. Jesus and the 2 other ones. They hung him. Now imagine this, being hung, arms and feet, and they watch you in a group suffer to die for 7 days. Some people say it was 3, but It takes, I looked it up. How long does it take to die if you're sitting up like that? 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 14 days. There was an eclipse and everything. And he rose on the 3rd day. It's crazy. Let's see what this guy has to say, man.
Our current rulers are very ambitious, and they want to aspire to that height. We don't want to resist them in the name of Christ, because we don't want to launch another series of interminable religious wars.
Right.
Okay. Because we don't want the Muslims fighting with the Jews, fighting with the Christians, fighting with, all of that. All right. So that's a most reasonable question. When they say which God, the Christian, and here's the answer to your question. The Christian nationalist is the one who's willing to answer that question and speaking into the microphone. The true God, the living God, the one who exists.
Yes.
Not the God on our money. Now there's a corrective there. The God on our money used to be the Christian God, because that was put there when there was a robust Christian consensus in this country. All right. So we had an informal establishment at the founding of the United States, where the religious differences that we were willing to acknowledge and work with were the differences between Baptists and Presbyterians and Anglicans. It was not the difference between Muslims and Hindus, and it wasn't the whole entire landscape, because all law, and this is the next principle, all law is imposed morality.
By definition.
By definition. It's not whether, but which. It's not whether you're imposing morality, it's which morality you're imposing. Okay. And if someone says, well, you're going to wind up imposing morality, I say, well, yeah, that's what law is, right? You can't have a structured, ordered society without the imposition of morality.
Law is judgment.
Right. But then that leads to the question, which morality? Every moral system arises out of the worship of a god. All right. So in Saudi Arabia, you're going to get a moral system that is distinctly different than a moral system that arose out of a country with a Christian history and consensus. All right. So,
but they all come back to Jesus Christ. It all come back to Jesus Christ, and more questions arise. Who created the Bible? Well, there was a gentleman that created the Bible, and before he could finish it, they hung him. They hung him. And again, they hung him. They did not want him finishing the Bible, the American Bible. Look it up.
The God you worship, this is a principle you see all through the entire Bible, and that is you become like what you worship. People begin to be conformed to the image of what they consider to be the highest good. You become like what you worship. In Psalm 115, it says they make idols that have eyes and see not, ears but they hear not, noses but they smell not. And then it says those that make them are like unto them. You become like what you worship. All right. So if you worship a God who is
no offense, but if you still think stocks, real estate, or crypto are the best passive income investments into
Allah does not reveal himself. He reveals his will. He's a God of power, coercion, force. All right. That's why Muslim societies are the way they are, because you become like what you worship. The Christian heritage has, unlike anything else in human history, has a balance of form and freedom, structure and liberty together. Okay, that I believe is the unique contribution of Christian theology. We worship God who is one God. Christians are monotheists, who is triune, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And so when you're tackling the ancient philosophical problem of the one and the many, what is ultimate? Diversity, like Heraclitus taught.
You know why they think that they're gods? Because you can see them. You can't see Jesus Christ, which I believe he's here on this earth right now in this present. With all of this stuff happening, the wars, you think he's not here and they're suppressing him right now? So You can't, how can you sit up there and be in a church and pay tithes to a God that's not there? How? Do you think God say, pay me to get into heaven? Do you really think our true Christian God would sit up there and say, give me 10% of your money to build a church? People are sleeping with preachers. People are having babies by preachers. There's cults. You think our money should go 10%, and it's not going to God. God hasn't came down yet, but who that money goes to is the government.
Can't step into the same river twice. History is just 10 tons of confetti dumped into a tornado. That's chaos. That's Heraclitus. Then there's Parmenides. Everything's frozen. Everything's a big unit, right? Monism or chaos. Whirl is king if you're Heraclitus, and Parmenides, everything's frozen and stuck. And they wrestled with this for centuries. And then the Christians came along in the history of ideas. And you Christians, what is ultimate, the one or the many? And the Christians said, yes. Yes. And Christians have room, have mental space, have theological space for ultimate unity and ultimate division, the fellowship between the three persons of the Trinity. And we become like what we worship. And so consequently, Christians are the ones who can respect order and form and structure. We like order and we love liberty. Well, where does that come from? Right? There's a certain kind of person who loves liberty and they just want to do whatever they want to do. And no one can tell me what to do about anything.
Right. Libertine.
Libertine. And then there's the person who wants structure. They want to live in a tyrannical North Korea type of thing where every move is dictated.
Yes.
Right? They want structure. The Christian faith provides the balance between form and freedom. And this is something that has been discussed for decades in the modern setting. Francis Schaeffer, the late Francis Schaeffer, was really good at spelling this out. We want form and freedom together. So when we say Christian nationalism, there are only three basic ways of organizing human society. There's tribalism, there's nationalism, and then there's globalism. I don't want globalism. I don't want to eat bugs. Okay. I don't want tribalism because nobody wants to live in a failed state, Somalia, with warlords. Nobody wants to live in Thunderdome. Okay. So I don't want tribalism and I don't want globalism. And we have a national structure now. Okay. So as a Christian, I would like that national structure to conform to the things that God wants and not the things that man wants. That's Christian nationalism.
But may I ask, of course, I
Yes.
I agree vehemently with everything you've said. Let me pose the maybe two problems that people might have hearing the phrase Christian nationalism. The first and most obvious is, well, what if I'm not Christian?
Right.
How do I fit into that?
All right. You would fit in better than you're fitting in now. Okay. One of the things that a non-believer, basically, I trust the Christians. This I'm speaking historically. I trust the Christians to take better care of a secularist's liberty than I trust the secularists to take care of mine.
Nicely put.
Hold on, I don't have that much time. I remember him. I was watching some of his stuff, but I don't know. He the way he talked, I'm like, and now they're talking about something. I don't want to see that. That shouldn't. How about this? Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to find the right one. Oh, that's
Welcome to the future of customer engagement with Sendbird's AI chatbot.
A mind-blowing revelation by none other than the billionaire Elon Musk. Elon Musk, the visionary entrepreneur, has just confirmed something that will leave you astonished. So join us as we dive into this eye-opening video to explore what he has to say about the rapture and why it's going to happen very soon. Don't miss out on this fascinating insight. The rapture is a Christian belief about what will happen at the end of time. Both living and deceased believers are believed to go to heaven to meet Jesus Christ when he comes back, called the second coming or parousia. The idea of the rapture comes from the hope that Jesus will come back to save all the members of the church. Interestingly, the word rapture is not found in the New Testament. Instead, in his first letter to the Thessalonians, the Apostle Paul mentioned that the Lord will come down from heaven and a trumpet will sound. Then the dead believers will rise. 4:16.
Now, what they mean by 4:16, that's cool. What they mean by that is the dead people, the people that are not awoke because they're so dead light. They're in their dead lights, like it says, where they don't even notice what's going on around them. They're not known.
For that, the believers who are still alive will be taken up, also called caught up or rapio in Latin, which translates the original Koine Greek, to meet the Lord in the air. 4:17. The Gospels of Mark, Matthew, and Luke also talk about Jesus returning to earth from heaven, saying he will come with great power and glory. 13:26. The belief in the rapture is often connected with the idea of a literal one, 000-year rule of Jesus Christ on earth after his return, which is mentioned in chapter 20 of the Revelation to John, also known as the Book of Revelation. However, there are different interpretations, such as the amillennial view, which reject this notion. There are also different views on when the rapture will happen. Some people believe it will occur before a period of tribulation on earth, mentioned in Daniel 12.
At that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth the children above people, such as never since then, same time, and thy people shall be delivered, everyone shall find written in the book. You know, it's funny, man. We always see heaven as nothing but green. You know, when Adam and Eve first came down, right? Maybe that was a part of heaven. Maybe the world is the heavens. And maybe it's like now, you know, it's not what it used to be. I mean, we know it's not what it used to be, but they ate from the tree of knowledge. They ate the apple from the tree of knowledge, right? Which means that, and even Chinese textbook says that in their version, they ate from the tree of knowledge from the snake. Now, right? Think about it. Now you got a frail man telling us to take our medication. And we're like, okay, some of us is like, okay, and some of us are fighting against it. And we end up locked up or set up or whatever. But it was a snake back then. Satan comes in many different forms. Back then, it was strictly okay to see a snake talk. To talk to somebody in that context means that snake was a powerful being of something, which means that enlightening them to know that this snake must be telling them some type of truth. And what happened? Let me explain. Adam and Eve sat up there and they ended up human. They were embarrassed to see themselves naked. And God banished them from the Garden of Eden. So that had to be a form of heaven that God tried to keep sacred, which was in Africa. I don't care whether they were white or black. They were our first ancestors. And they were carried over by God, a sacred place, to learn about self-control. And what do we do today? Don't do that. and we do it anyway. If no one's watching or no one can find out, you do it anyway. I've learned that's not the best route to go, because then you have to watch as your body descends to heaven, and you have to rewind and get the tape rewind, because everything you see now and you think about in your memory is going to God now. It's going to God's spiritual form. And when you ignite with God, he's going to rewind the tape on everything you did corrupt. And then you have to answer for that. You have to answer why you killed somebody or why you did some foul stuff. I have every excuse in the book that shows I was not either on drugs or something major happened in my life. It was not my fault, and it was definitely out of my control. And I live with that, and I hold my head up high knowing that somebody did me dirty. And in their vision, they know they're doing me dirty, and they're going to have to answer to God one day. And he's going to say, why did you do that? And they're going to fall to their knees, and they're going to beg to get into the heavens realm. And he's going to say, no. You had a choice. You knew the text as it said. Everything that's in the Bible may have happened, but it's not going to happen exactly word for word, verbatim. Think about this. This was thousands of years ago when people seen things that we don't see today. So what they predicted now is not going to, nobody is coming from out of the sky. We have produced planes from the inspiration of what? Birds. We don't produce outer spaceships from the what? Birds. It all stems down to birds. We haven't seen anything crazy except spaceships. Nobody is going to come gravitating, floating down like with trumpets playing. I'm sorry. There are key words that show that these divine prophets are they saw the future in their view, which it was true. Things are going to happen, destruction, poverty, war, famine, but it's not going to happen the way people are looking for something to drop down, and it's not going to happen the way that people want it, and people are hiding that. Back in the day, they changed water into wine. That is a brilliant talent. Back in the day, he walked on water. That is a brilliant talent. He performed so many miracles on people, leprosy and everything. He had powers back then. Imagine taking something that suppresses your mind to not be able to have the abilities to create different powers. Because in my mind, I believe that we all have power, different abilities. But to take medication would suppress that, right? Why do one medication have 1,100 different side effects? One medication, diarrhea, anxiety, constipation, fast heart rate, arrhythmia, myocardial infarction. Think about this, man. And where is the devil? If the devil is here and war is being caused, so you better believe, you better start looking for Jesus. Better, because he's here. Oh, is he here? Somewhere on this earth. And that's why they didn't want the guy to finish the Bible. Remember that. They're not going to say Jesus is on this planet right now. Who runs the World Wide Web? The government. They're not going to say accurate. We know where Jesus Christ is right now. And, what would they actually say? It's millions and trillions and billions of dollars that would go to this character. He would be a rich man. What happened with the government in Jesus Christ? Everywhere he go, something happened. Right? Right? Am I wrong? Everywhere Jesus went, they tried to kill him. No matter what he did. And he ran away and stayed in the doors. Then they started asking him for miracles, using him. Nobody helped him in the end. I care about Jesus, man. I love Jesus. So with that being said, let me see. Hold on.
1 and Matthew 24:21, and before the end. In contrast, others think it will happen after that period, post-tribulationists. The belief in the rapture.
See, back in the day, they had wings. There are laws to even angels. There's laws. Don't even worry. There's laws to angels, to gods, everywhere. There's laws. There's laws.
Is sometimes associated with dispensationalism, which is the idea that God makes new agreements with his people from time to time. Some rapture believers consider themselves to be dispensationalists. Also, throughout Christian history, there have been writings and ideas about the end times, often referred to as apocalyptic literature and millennialist thinking. These concepts have captivated the imagination of Christians, even though they have been interpreted in different ways and, in some cases, rejected. One movement in the 16th century called Futurism emphasized that the prophecy of the end mentioned in Scripture would be fulfilled in the future, with events like the rise of the Antichrist and the return of Christ. Some historical events also played a role in shaping these ideas. For example, when the Puritans founded the Massachusetts Bay Colony, they believed they were creating a special place for Christ's second coming. Later on, during the Great Awakening and Second Great Awakening in the United States, a surge of evangelical fervor promoted beliefs about the millennium, a new dispensation, and the imminent return of Christ. One prominent figure during this time was William Miller, who predicted the second coming to happen in 1843, leading to the formation of Adventist churches. The concept of the rapture persisted throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, gaining popularity among some evangelical and fundamentalist Christians, and even spreading to other Christian and non-Christian religious movements. During the Cold War, the fear of nuclear war heightened interest in prophecies about the rapture. The idea also became prevalent in popular culture, especially as the year 2000 approached with millennialist excitement. For instance, evangelist Jack Chick's illustrated tracts and the Left Behind novel and movie series played a role in this. Furthermore, there were predictions about specific dates for the rapture, like the ones made by the American evangelist Harold Camping in 2011. These beliefs continued to proliferate in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. What did the billionaire Elon Musk say about the rapture and Jesus? So, in an interview with the Babylon Bee, Tesla co-founder and CEO Elon Musk talked about Jesus Christ and religion seriously and thoughtfully. When asked if he accepted Jesus as his Lord and Savior, Elon replied, "I agree with the principles that Jesus advocated. There's some great wisdom in the teachings of Jesus, and I agree with those teachings." He highlighted important teachings like turn the other cheek instead of seeking revenge, emphasizing forgiveness and treating others as we wish to be treated. Elon said, "Love thy neighbor as thyself" is crucial. Elon expressed openness to the idea of Jesus saving people, saying, "Sure, I'll be saved. Why not?" While he mentioned he was baptized as a child, he admitted to having many questions about God, faith, and the stories of Jesus in the Bible. Though not strongly religious, he mentioned praying for this opportunity. Regarding the significance of this topic,
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you.
Elon believed it was a positive achievement for humanity. He said, "This is something that the whole world can take some pleasure in and can really look at this as an achievement of humanity." In challenging times with little good news, he hoped this would be universally celebrated and brighten people's days, regardless of their location on Earth. What exact purpose does the rapture serve in God's redemptive plan? God's plan is to fix what was broken because of Adam's actions and restore proper order in creation through humanity connected to him. The resurrection of believers is part of this restoration, as mentioned in Romans 8:18-23. The rapture plays a role in this restoration process. However, before Christ's return and the establishment of his kingdom, the scriptures say that God will pour out his anger on those who oppose his rule. The church is promised protection.
I wonder, this is the pretty cool thing. Naive old Jesus that come down in human form can have all the power of the NSA, the FBI, the CIA, every technology that was ever built, God-like technology, at his hands, right? Which means that he will be able to actually swift justice people like it says in the Bible and take them out and judge them. It will be a totally different universe.
From this wrath, and the rapture is how it is safeguarded. Now comes the big question. When will the rapture happen? The timing of the rapture in relation to the tribulation is a hotly debated topic among Christians, and it has been a point of controversy throughout history. While we don't know the exact time of Jesus' return, the Bible offers three main possibilities. The first view is pre-tribulation, which suggests that the rapture will happen before the 7-year tribulation period begins. Many Christians hold this belief because it means they won't have to endure the suffering and hardships during that time. Early Christians were eagerly expecting Jesus' return, believing it could happen any time. It's essential to understand that no specific prophetic events must occur before the rapture. They can happen at any moment. In the mid-tribulation view, scholars propose that the rapture occurs 3.5.
Guess what, though? In the Bible, it actually reads, he comes down from the clouds. That was so beautiful. I'm like, Jesus, why are you taking my last name? He said he comes down on a cloud, actually, not from the clouds, on a cloud. You know, it was pretty cool, man.
Half years after a peace treaty guarantees Israel's safety. The tribulation's first 3.5 years would be relatively peaceful for believers. According to this perspective, the rapture comes first, followed by breaking the peace treaty, leading to God's wrath being poured out through the seals, trumpets.
Do you know that part of us can control, like the government can partially, if not fully, can control, allegedly control weather? You know, if the government can allegedly control weather, if the government can allegedly watch everything to the nickel on your floor, to the little cotton, tiny little cotton ball on your sock, your black sock, or the little black cotton ball on your white sock, if they can zoom in and do a 360 around you, if they can do all that technology, imagine what Jesus would do with that type of technology. It's not going to happen the way you think. That's just my heart and how I feel. I've studied partially the Bible. I'm a Christian, but I'm not an atheist. I believe that some parts of the Bible were hidden. And the reason why I don't believe in all parts of the Bible is this. The Pope of Rome or something, I don't remember his name. He actually have hidden Bible scriptures that only he can see. Nobody else can see, which is unfair. Why is that? Why is he allowed to see something when a normal person can debate that that is just not right? Maybe he knows something that we don't know.
And bowls. Both the pre-tribulation and mid-tribulation viewpoints find support in Scripture, making them plausible interpretations. The important thing is to stay vigilant and ready for Jesus' return, regardless of the rapture's timing. Let's talk about the final third position. The third perspective on the rapture's timing is called post-tribulation. According to this view, the rapture will happen simultaneously with Jesus' second coming. However, we don't believe this scenario is likely because of significant differences between the rapture and the second coming.
Why did the Bible grow to confuse us? They know the answer, but different people that wrote the Bible couldn't tell the whole answer. Why is that they got the answers of what happened, but they don't have the full answers?
Includes the saying, during the rapture, believers will meet the Lord in the air, 1 Thessalonians 4:17.
In the air. In the air. I don't get the saying from that. How can one person meet the Lord in the air? How can the Lord be in the air for everybody to see? Not unless you have TV and he personally come down. I don't believe that theory.
On the other hand, at the second coming, believers will come back to the earth with the Lord, Revelation 19:14. Also, the second coming occurs after the great and terrible tribulation is over, Revelation 6:19. However, the rapture happens before the tribulation starts, 1 Thessalonians 5:9, Revelation 3:10. And the rapture is a rescue mission.
Just to know, 3:10 is Jesus Christ's initials. Anything with 3 and 10 is Jesus Christ's initials. That's pretty cool, man. You know, every time I see 3:10 or 10:3, you know, I'll be like, that's Jesus Christ. That's the day the guy that created the Bible died on. It equaled 10:3. Anybody that dies on 10:3 are sacrifice people. Or anything that happens on a 10:3 is a sacrifice for Jesus Christ.
Taking believers away from the earth, 1 Thessalonians 4:13, 17, 1 Thessalonians 5:9. In contrast, the second coming involves the removal of unbelievers as an act of judgment, Matthew 24:40, 41.
Come on, that's no fair.
Believers as an act of judgment, Matthew
6, 4, 10, 5, 15, 6, 3.
24, 40, 41.
That's the Holy Trinity.
Moreover, the rapture will be a secret and instantaneous event, 1 Corinthians 15,
6, 11, 6, 3, 11, 3.
50, 54. On the other hand, the second coming will be visible to everyone, Revelation 1:7.
8, infinity. It will be infinity. 6, 11, 3, 11, 3.
Matthew 24, 29, 30. Finally, the second coming of Christ will happen only after certain other events in the end times take place. 2 Thessalonians 2, 4, Matthew 24.
6, 6, 3, 3, 6, 9.
15, 30, Revelation 6, 8.
See, it says it right here. And hath made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be the glory and dominion. That's 7 and 3. Amen. Behold, he cometh with the clouds. Woo, woo, he come with the clouds. You right. I'm going to take up for Jesus. You right. And every eye shall see him. And they also which pierced.
However, the rapture can happen at any moment. It is imminent. Titus 2:13, 1 Thessalonians 4:13.
5, 3, 8, 9, 83. Plus, that's 93 actually, because you got to add that 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 1 is 6, 3, 6, 9.
18, 1 Corinthians 15:50.
Oh Lord. 7, 10, 7, 10, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 3. And that's 9. 3, 3.
54. So is rapture near? Comment below your views and subscribe for more.
I'm not about to do this all day.
The future is not just going to happen.
So I'm not about to sit on here and do this. Y'all have to do your research. And when y'all look at those numbers, that's what those numbers are. I look at them up and it's no way they can. I'm just going to leave it alone because it's just a coincidence to some psychiatrists, and other psychiatrists like, no way. And HE, you know what, exclamation point. Does those numbers equal some of her numbers? I am 39 years old. My birthday is 7/3, and I worship 369. So you can get mad, you can say whatever, but I'm not claiming to be Jesus. All I'm saying is that I am somebody special. My last name is in there. Why would they every to the T, they include every word to the T that's included. I don't know much about the Bible. I'm no saint when it comes to the Bible. I don't believe in every biblical Bible out there. It has nothing for me. But numbers, I'm not a mathematician, but I know numbers. I know numbers. The way I add them up is simple addition. If it's a 9, if it's a 12, it equals 3. If it's an odd number, it breaks down to 3 again. I can't help it. What time is it? 84, 8:31 p.m. So, with that being said, I will go ahead. I am not saying I'm superior to nobody. I'm not saying I'm better than nobody. I'm just saying numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Everybody number have a meaning. Everybody. I looked up Jesus Christ's number and it equals 10 and it equals 3. My initials equal 11 and 3. So, yeah. So I'm going to look up if I have any. If I don't have nobody else to I just don't feel like I should be worshiping something that always go off on a word salad. It talks about real life issues that go on, but then it goes off in like a word salad kind of thing, and that I don't like that. Tell what happens. It's always a puzzle. It's always a puzzle. That makes it easier to attack, and we wouldn't know that we're being attacked fully. Once again, how would Satan look in 2024 to bypass everybody and nobody would think he's Satan? It all started with a great man named Abraham Lincoln that wanted to see great things happen, and he got assassinated. And there must be some relevance to, I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to go there. But what I will say is that y'all need to start adding up different things, because 8:33, how perfect. Because, I'm just telling the truth, man. I'm a truth person. I tell the truth with everything I do. I love Father Time. I love Father Time. April 14th, I just noticed that day. The Mayans are amazing people. We have technology on this world right now that does not, it's beyond a physics book. It's beyond a physics book. It's beyond a physics book. Think about it. But we don't believe. We believe because our structure is physics and science and biology and the study of life, the study of this, the study of the chemicals. And you're like, okay, I didn't learn nothing else. So I think that that's all that's in the world. I think outside the box. I don't think like a normal person think. When I see somebody saying a conspiracy theory, I believe it. Bob Lazar, especially. There was technology out there in the early 80s and 90s that we could not explain, and they had different aircrafts for different places. It wasn't, he was working only on one consistent aircraft. One man got blown up before him, and he just happened to be working on that same aircraft. Spaceship, should I say, from allegedly what he said. My heart goes out to the aliens, because think about it. If there are benevolent aliens here right now, think about not the illegals, but think about aliens just rolling doom doom. You like this, you got the wheel on 3 and 6 or 3 or 9, and you look to your left and there's a gray just saying, I come in peace, and you like, FBI, we got an effing problem. There is a gray next to me right now. And then some people are like, grab it, let's confiscate it. I got a gray. How much you gonna pay for that gray, FBI? It's sick out here. They're willing to steal a phone for information. How can we live amongst aliens that's benevolent and nice and want to help our planet if we can't even help people like me or help people like people that's doing bad? Seriously. Anything I say is it looks really corrupt. It looks corrupt. It looks like I'm just lying. I just need friends or something. And it's not true. I need listeners to understand my story. We need to fight for what's right so we can have the right aliens come into our territory. I know the aliens that are already here are sick and tired of seeing our great American United States foil and crumble. But guess what? They have a clause in a law that they can't even sit up there and fight. Next is going to be they spread underground to the aliens. And what they going to do then? Let's dig a tunnel. If we going to dig a tunnel straight to the aliens, right? It may be funny, but it's not, it's true. They can help us. They can help us. And they have been, and they haven't gotten the credit that they deserve. These computers don't get the credit they deserve. If it wasn't for the computer or the phone, I wouldn't be able to communicate at all. I got one thing to do. If I have no accounts tomorrow, it's fine with me. I have more stuff to do. And the reason it was meant for me to do this. Julie Broad. Do I have her on my schedule on my StreamYard? I think I remember her. Please let me have her. Come on. I didn't make it. Wait, the 17th. It's not today. Look up the 17th. I know I made her banner. Is this her? Yup. She's actually for the 17th tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yup. It was, let me recreate this. Edit. I don't need nobody tomorrow. Tomorrow I am going to do everything I need to do. I'm not leaving out, not even for a smoothie. I got all my ingredients. I said that before. I mean it. No more trickery. I don't have time for this. My mind is going bananas. I have to deal with this BS. Oh, it's on the right date. Okay. Good. Nobody else that picks up the time schedule and everything, man. So tomorrow is going to be the day. I already got it written down. Once I interview her, I got 3 people I got to put on Apple. I have it written down just in small caps, and I'm going to make sure that I do it. After the interview, I have like another interview, and I don't have nothing to do until 1:30. Let me make sure. I have 2 calls, important calls. I won't talk about what time they are. Something on the 22nd. Let me look at something real quick. Hold on. I'm going to have to change it with Jenny, and I'm going to write her right now. Nothing is going to stop me from having my appointment with the creative nomad. It's not no harm to you, Jenny, if you're out there watching, but I need to do this. So we got Jenny, what's her name? I can easily change it for her. I have to do more stuff. Why am I on Canva? Even if he don't show up. Schedule events, get her email address. Good. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with not having nobody for Friday at 1:30. Because what I may do, I know what I may do. I'll check with people. It's a lot of people that want to be on the radio. I'll check with people tomorrow. And if I get nobody, I have plan B. I always get somebody, but I'm running like I want to do one with me. Matter of fact, I know who I could get, possibly. Let's go ahead and reach out to him now. I'm okay with that. Let me look. Hold on. Sometimes this is 18th, 19th. I could have it already scheduled. I have one for the 19th at Barbara Ann. 19th. Who is this? Barry Atkins. Okay. I got to write him tomorrow. I'm going to write everybody tomorrow, one by one. But I need to reach out to her and ask her for 10 o'clock. Now I'll go to Jenny Ferguson's. How do you spell reschedule? They gave me the red dot. Okay, it's a long word. Okay, so I have an interview that day. Can we change it to 10 a.m.? Let me know. Doo. Are you on my platform, you guys? Okay, I can't let y'all see this because I'm doing something. It's so funny. That's why I don't use that crap. I needed to show this. We're losing in the battle, y'all. We're losing in the battle. And that's not a joke. We're really losing. We're losing our faith. Some people are converting over. Oh, I know who I need to email. He looked out for me, so I'm going to look out for him. What's his name? Dan. Where are you at, Dan? Hi, Dan Hank. I wanted to say to give you some times. What is open? Somebody canceled actually for the hour-long segment. And I tried to leave it open. So let's look. The 23rd. No! The 23rd. Is the 23rd at 2 o'clock open? Wait. Hold up. Wait. Something ain't right. Let me look on my calendar because I canceled it. Somebody canceled And now I'm confused. Did I? She seems familiar. Hold on. I got her banner, but somebody canceled on me. Oh, this sucks. This sucks bad. It's 2 weeks from now. Ah, fiddlesticks. I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay, what times do I have open? Just look. Okay, so I'm going to change that to the 29th. I'm just going to keep that one until I look through all these emails thoroughly. The 22nd, I written her. Tell them I have the 22nd at 11. The 22nd at 11. Or be a Saturday or Sunday. Either or at whichever times are convenient for you. It was an honor speaking with both ladies today. Okay. Do I have any spam? Wham, bam. Thank you, spam. No spam? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Good. Spam folder, that's how I like to see it. Empty. What is this? Okay. Okay. So hard to get a Wikipedia page. It'll happen when I'm ready. It'll happen, Jackson. I'm not gonna rush it. Oh, and I have an email from the good. Hold on. Okay, good. Okay. Cameron, Akeisha. Okay. What's Lumino? Oh, I have some. Okay. Don't have me. Don't do that. Okay. You want to play games, Lumino? What just happened? I subscribed. I can't even say nothing. No, I'm unsubscribing. I don't have time for that. Ted, what? You're noticing me? I'm noticing you too. Forget it. I'll just do Lumino. Let me look up Lumino real quick. And then I'm going to write back this guy. Wait, if they come from where I think they do, I'm going to so delete it. No. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, I tried to ask you. I tried. Let me see. Let me see something. I just want to go down to the bottom. How can I get a Wikipedia page since you guys told me that I cannot get one? I'm confused. Why even put me on here when you never answered my emails? Okay. What was the other person I needed to write? I know. Here. Wow. Where are you at? Where are you at? Who is? Let's view everything. Give me till tomorrow to look at your great work. Sorry it took so long. Take care. Okay, I have more messages. Thank you, Claire. Oh, that felt so good massaging my back. Okay. Okie doke. Okie doke. That is it. I am going to create my own community. Not now. I'm going to leave that open. Okay. That's my cue, you guys. I got to be nice and bright and early. Make sure that up to bed, up to early, all that great stuff. And calculate some things and see what I need to do in order to, succeed for what I need to succeed for. I need to write down some things right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down some things for tomorrow. Be prepared. Knock, knock. Who's there? White House. Kimberly. Kimberly who? Kimberly wants peace and tranquility. Knock, knock. Donald Trump administration. Take care, y'all. Good night. I hope that you all have a wonderful night, man. Seriously. I hope you all sit up there and resonate with your family, your friends, and sit up there and come up with a viable solution yourselves to why we should sit up there and we need a better United States. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to talk your head off, FBI, whoever I hashtag, but please don't let me down. Please don't let us down, especially me. I have faith in you guys. Some of you, of course. I I have faith in the CIA. I have faith in the NSA. For real. Don't let me down. Let there be justice for Kimberly Cloud. You know I'm telling the truth. It's just beginning to be too much. It's hurting our cohesive United States of America. Please help us one way or another, however you can. I'm not going to cry, but this is sad, man. So with that being said, what am I about to make me? I don't know what I'm about to make me to eat, but I'm about to make something and get ready for bed. It's already 9 o'clock, man. 9 o'clock on the dot. I'm on my sofa, cruising the sights. I got a real pretty, pretty little computer tonight. Pull up. You can tell I'm tired. Let me stop, man. I love you guys. Yeah, guys, take care. I can't be on here all night, but I had to show that. Tucker Carlson, if you're out there watching, please don't show me nothing else tomorrow, because you know I'm going to jump on it and I'm going to have to show it. You know, leave it to this weekend. Show some juicy material this weekend from Uncensored, and I promise you I show it. We need to learn about Jesus more. Have y'all watched the Jesus Christ movie with the Caucasian male? He did an excellent job in the renowned newer movie of Jesus Christ. I would never stop watching though. I cried to that movie, but I would never stop watching the old school Ten Commandments. That movie is a powerful movie. My mother used to cry to it all the time, and it looks so real, man. Even though it was back in the day when color was first coming out, it still looked real. You know, you can feel the vision because you got like HD color now, but the real vision, the vision of the color back in the 60s, in the late 50s and the early 60s, color was totally different. And to be in Egypt, that color setting, that hue, is it HUE, the hue for the color of the Ten Commandments back in the day was amazing. It's just like you were there. That 4-hour long movie, like you sat there literally for 4 hours, 3.5 hours. It's a Wonderful Life was an amazing movie. A Christmas Story. Our old school cartoons, Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What happened to that, man? Everything started phasing out, man. I still want to see those movies, but I don't even watch cable no more. I just educate myself. If I'm curious about something, I'm typing. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't sit up there and watch something fake. I mean, I want to laugh every now and again, but I don't invest my time. I used to spend countless of hours watching fake shows when there's more stuff going on out here than a fake show. Like 14 hours of my day, because I had to watch another episode. It was addicting. The next episode, 30 seconds. Get your popcorn. And I did get my popcorn. So I was like invested in these movies and shows. I'm not down in Hollywood. It's just that it's not for me to sit up there and watch something fake And there's real life stuff happening, and people are being followed and murdered. Kids are dying and being raped. Kids are being molested every day, bullied, fighting, ambush, killed. That's my heart, to speak on their behalfs. They're the unspoken voices. And that's why I do what I do. And I want y'all to know I have no hostility against the good Hispanics. No hostility. I love Hispanics. And I put that on God. And y'all know I'm a Christian believer. And the FBI know I'm telling the truth. But the evil ones that just seep into our territory and invade our privacy, dumpster dive to get our trash, dumpster dive to get vital information, pay people off to poison people and paying people off to get vital information is wrong. Go back and let the American Mexicans do what they came here to do, which is have a safe world, United States. And that's how I feel, and that's how I'm going to end.